they used it for insect repellent.
Oh, wow. Well, they should use something. I'll be honest with you. They need to use something for deodorant.
Yes.
I tell you what. I mean, you could be 100 feet away from one and get so nauseous you want to throw up. That's how bad it is. I mean, I have never smelt. I had, in one of my marriage, I had 8 kids, and I changed a lot of diapers. And I have a dog right now. It's like a part terrier, part poodle. It's 20 years old, blind and in diapers. I'd rather change those diapers than run across that smell from the Bigfoot ever again.
I have heard open sewer, mold, and dirt. And I use that explanation in my book. And a friend of mine had read it, and she's like, you didn't say what it was, but I know exactly what you're describing, and I know they're here. Because she has smelled them and heard them, and yeah. So I understand they smell horrible.
Oh, yeah. So, hey, guys, if any of you guys like going hiking, and you're out in, the woods, hiking somewhere, and all of a sudden you start running across a smell. It's really nauseous. Get out of there quick.
Yeah, absolutely. That is not something you want to just walk up onto.
Liz, what really scares me too, like I mentioned, in our park system, since 1900 to, 2013, there's been 14,000 people who've gone into the U.S. park system. It totally disappeared. Not a single trace, and that's not including the ones that they found, the remains of. But, yeah, sure. A hunter's going out there. He has a heart attack. He drops dead, maybe they'll never find his body. You got joggers, hikers out there, go out there and disappear. No trace, people committing suicide. Maybe back years ago, I guess, maybe growing marijuana out somewhere out in the woods or something like that. Or, those mushroom things, and you run across it, maybe they off you. I don't know. But, that's a lot of people to disappear. And then you go into some of the cases where, like, a woman jogger was jogging with her friends or her friend, and she decided to jog ahead. Well, her friend never found her friend. So when she got back and the authorities went out looking, they found her friend, what was left of her, okay, and they determined it was not a animal that killed her, but she was like, in little pieces. Her clothes were kind of like over here, and her body, what's left of it, was over here. Then there was a case of a 5-year-old boy. The parents went out camping. The father was, putting the tent up and talking to his wife, and maybe for a split second or so, wasn't paying attention to their 5-year-old. The 5-year-old disappeared. So they did a major manhunt for a couple of days. There was major rivers there. Everything, right? They didn't find the remains. Then all of a sudden they find the remains of that little boy.
Yeah.
15 miles away. 15 miles away from where he disappeared. How can a 5-year-old can't walk 15 miles up to the side of a mountain and go across rivers and all that stuff? It's impossible.
No, I'm familiar with the 5-year-old boy disappearing, and that is one of those cases that just is baffling when you look at it and go through the case files and look at the different reports. There's no good explanation as to, one, how he could disappear that fast, and two, how he could get so far away without assistance of some kind.
Yeah.
The jogger I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, but it's not just that. There's, cases where hunters went out and one of them got separated. Again, they found the remains of the hunter, a few days later, with his gun, right there, and, part of him there and part of him over there. Again, it was not like, a mountain lion that did it or a bear. and it's just strange things, and and then some people talk, well, maybe it could have been, an alien, because supposedly there's aliens, that are, cannibals, walking on our earth, along with the Greys. That's supposed to be nice. I don't know. So, hey, maybe the Bigfoot's tied in with, I don't know. It's strange.
I've even heard one theory that Bigfoot is an alien.
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
And there have been sightings where within minutes of seeing a UFO, a Bigfoot has been sighted, which that it could be pure coincidence. But again, maybe there is something to that. I don't know.
But you know what, Liz? You go like in the Himalayas, right? The Yeti, okay, which is white, instead of, the brownish black, which I saw. Again, their reports of, people climbing mountains and stuff, they saw the Yeti, and they said that the Yeti, again, was, I guess, classified the same as a Bigfoot, was not friendly. It was a killer. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I've talked, Liz, to a couple Indian tribes, some of the elders, and some of the folk who are going back. They talk again about that the wives or the squaws be in the river, washing their clothes with their little kids, and all of a sudden one of them be carried away from a Bigfoot, and then that was the end of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are reports all over the world of Bigfoot type creatures being aggressive and attacking, and anything from attacking people who are out hiking to going in and attacking villages and ransacking homes even. So it's possible. I don't discount anything completely.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, myself, it showed aggressive, being aggressive towards me and my friend. And it wasn't, where it just screamed at us and then, it ran away and it stayed there. It made a point of coming after us. So, I mean, if it was just trying to scare us, I don't know. Like I said, if the car wasn't where it was at and I didn't get into it and start it, and then my friend was getting in the car and I was dragging him, I mean, I think if it got that close to us that fast, and we would have to go any farther, I think I would not be talking to you right now. I just really strongly feel that. So that's, the people are naive. I guess, you could run across a Bigfoot that is, curious, and it would maybe make friends this way. Like you have a dog, it'll love you, and you have another dog, it'll bite everybody and try to kill everybody. I mean, I guess the right place or the wrong place at the right time or the wrong time. I don't know.
Right, and that's really the way I feel about it too. Is they're going to be territorial. I mean, even people are territorial. If someone walks into your house, you're not just going that you don't know. You're not just going to say, "Oh yeah, sure, come on in." You're going to make them leave in some way. So that's basically what we're doing when we go out there. I mean, we're walking into their home.
Oh yeah. I mean, the same way you'd protect your house. I mean, if somebody come walking in to your property, you're not going to be friendly. If somebody comes walking in there, again, with them, I mean, if you walk in where they have their family or their group, and, they're going to look at you as, being the one that's the intruder.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to do what they have to do to protect themselves. And if that means, chase you away or throw a rock at you or, again, I had one guest on here about 8 months ago. It told me that him and his friend went camping, or him and a group of friends went camping. And during the night, they had their, fire going, and they were talking, I guess maybe even drinking some beers, right? And next thing they said, they started hearing, like these howls, which were not, coyotes. They, like the Bigfoot type of sound. And then they would hear the bushes, around them, kind of like move. And then they would hear some strange noises, imitation of like other animal noises. And, I don't know. What can I say? I mean, my feeling is that they exist because what I saw. Ed Romans, again, Canada's #1 folk singer, you could not talk him out of seeing what he saw. And then, like, I had a couple guests, the same thing. I mean, I just don't buy it that they're going to be really friendly and, if you run across one and, put their arms around you and say hi to you. I really don't feel that way.
Yeah, it's not Harry and the Hendersons. Definitely not.
No. And there's a lot of people out there. That's what they believe. They think they're Bigfoot are friendly and, they're just going to try to scare you away nicely. I don't know. Just like that one lady, it was telling me about, having to put out the basket of food for him. And when she did that, I guess that satisfied him. And I guess it took the threat away. But again, can you imagine living like where you live? And all of a sudden at night, you're hearing rocks being thrown against your house or cabin, whatever you live in. That would be kind of, and hearing those kind of screams in the background, that would be enough where I'd, either crank up my stereo, a Led Zeppelin, or I would, be looking for a new place to live.
Yeah, I would not want to live and be in a position where I would have to basically bribe them to not hurt me. My question is, what happens if she stops? Are they going to be more aggressive? Are they going to be angry at her because she's not doing this anymore?
Well, that is a possibility. I never even thought about talking to her about that. But I guess too, after a while, you're giving them food, right? They don't bother you, right? By throwing rocks on your house and scaring you, right? So you're giving them food. But maybe if you just all of a sudden stopped, they're going to be angry because they don't realize why you stopped. All they know is they're not getting the free food anymore. And it could go back to being aggressive again and more aggressive than the first time because they don't probably rationalize anything like me and you do. It's no way. Are they an animal or are they human or in between? I don't know what they are. Honestly, I don't know. So I don't know how one would think.
Well, they obviously, if they're not bothering her when she gives them food, they're obviously rationalizing, hey, she gives us this, we won't bother her. So there's some rationalization there and a little bit higher level thinking by doing that. But at some point that instinct may kick in, and if she doesn't feed them, they may decide to break the door down and go get what they want.
Oh, yeah. They very much can. It's like if you have a dog, right? And you give it a treat every single day, a treat, and all of a sudden you stop giving it treats. Well, you're going to find that dog not as friendly, as it was before. I mean, it's going to want a treat, and I guess if you put in your basket of food out for him every night to keep him from throwing rocks at your place and you quit, I don't know. I think now she's blackmailed into having to do it to live there. My hat's to her. I wouldn't want to live there. It's just another thing. I've talked to people that are planning to go Bigfoot hunting this summer. And they're talking to me, well, I got a 30-06. I got this, and I'm going to go shoot one. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret, guys. My uncle, when I was a little kid, spent, I think, like 3 months in the hospital. He went out bear hunting. He shot a bear. He shot it a couple times. The bear almost killed him. It mauled him, before the bear died. I mean, literally, my uncle was tore up really bad where they didn't even think he was going to survive. And he had major scars the rest of his life. So if you go out there and if you think you're going to go out and shoot a Bigfoot, and if you do, then you better watch out if its friends are around, because they are big, they are strong, And, it's not like probably shooting a human where you get a couple kill shots and they're falling over.